Something that I want to discuss before we get the episode started is a gift that I received at Maker Camp that I had no idea was one in the works or two headed my direction. There's a pretty cool guy who makes it to Maker Camp every year by the name of Nick Burchard. And Nick has a lovely nickname of Titty Nick because he makes handles with boobs on them. Anyway, he last year started doing some axe handles for a few folks, and it sort of led to the formation of a quest that our friend Malcolm ended up going on. And this year, Nick surprised me with a bowl gouge handle, and you can see there's a TJT right there and a Nick right here. This thing is breathtaking to behold. So Nick, one, thank you. Two, sorry for crying when you gave it to me, but I got emotionally overwhelmed. But it was thoughtful and unexpected, and I really appreciate it, buddy. So can't wait to stick a tool down in this thing and put it to work. And we've got some designs to work on too.
Heck yeah, but TJ, we went live.
Of course we did.
We are here. This is episode 172, and tonight we are joined by Papa Chad, Alabama Papa Chad. If you don't know him, you are going to know him, and we love him. But before we get into everything Papa Chad, TJ, do you want to run through sponsors real quick?
Sure. First thing every week, we thank Hannah and the team over at Surf Prep Sanding Systems for their support of the channel over the now multiple years. There's a handful of sanders and abrasive companies out there, but really only one of them is run by Hannah and the squad out there in California. This week, I actually used the 3x4 wiggle sander to do some flat work for a top secret project for an awareness month that's coming up next month. And we'll all learn a little bit more about that at the beginning of next month. But I got to tell you that the dust collection on that wiggle sander is tip top. Get your hands on one of those 3x4s. And if you're shopping on Surf Prep's website, you can use coupon code Sawdust Talk to save a little bit of money. The other thing that we need to talk about is Sawdust Talk channel merchandise. You can find that at kcbombshell.com. You can check out Layla's awesome scroll saw art that is inspired by nerd culture and tattoos, but don't get distracted by that because you need, yes, I repeat, need an extra cozy Sawdust Talk hoodie because winter is coming. And you could wear a winter coat. You could wear a nightgown, but the cool kids are wearing the Sawdust Talk hoodies. So get yourself one over there at kcbombshell.com. The other thing that we want to bring to your attention is that there is a Patreon for this channel. It is Patreon/Sawdust Talk for just $5 a month, which is less than a Butterburger at Culver's these days. You could support Jessie and I getting out to maker meetups, getting a little bit better kit, and keeping this show at the highest levels of production quality that we can afford. So thank you to all of our past and present supporters. And you can check that out at patreon.com/Sawdust Talk.
Awesome. So, Papa Chad.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We appreciate having you. I feel like you have turned into one of my OG friends. We go way back, which I love because I love seeing you every time I see you. But tell the people who you are, why you are, what you do.
Oh boy. Well, everybody calls me Papa Chad. That actually was a nickname I got from my daughter-in-law, from my grandkids. So I was like, hey, let's use that in this world since I'm not getting no younger, and it seems to have took off. For a living, I play in the dirt. I do a lot of specialized concrete, football field, stuff like that. For a hobby, wood, metal. Used to blacksmith quite a bit, but I get lost in time and I ain't set the forge back up in 5 years. So a little bit of everything, but also I may go a year or two without doing something. And I like to drink a lot of liquor and sit on the patio and watch the YouTube videos and cuss as a damn dog. So that's about it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. No, I was cruising through some of your old posts on the Instagram this evening, and I got very distracted watching you piece together a go-kart frame.
This year's or last year's?
This one was the John Deere one that I was.
That was this year's. That got out of hand. And like the last minute, it was. I tend to procrastinate. I'm very bad about that. I need to improve on that. But with all the improvements I've done upon myself, some things have to wait. So I'll keep on procrastinating. But that one, it didn't finish the way I wanted it to, but I've still got it, and I'm gonna finish it. And but yeah, it got out of hand. It turned out pretty cool, actually. It got some attention.
Yeah, well, I
So,
mean, and you are pretty slick with the coping of your joints and getting that little. Is that a flux core box that you just run in there, sneak into the joints and get it all together, or?
well, you talking about on welding it?
Yes, sir.
No, I've got a what is that thing? I got a Miller 210 that I probably bought 20 some years ago. Big gas MIG welder. So I use that. I've got a TIG too. I'm just not very good at it. I don't do it enough, but I've been MIG welding since I was a kid. So,
Yeah.
and I'll still, I'll go in spurts where I don't do it, and it's going to look like Sal's ass sewed up with a logging chain the first couple welds, because it's just terrible. But it's not bad.
You gotta
Yeah.
leave
No, that's
the girls. Girls are always better at TIG welding.
Yeah, I got the TIG welder. Actually, I'd been wanting one for years, and I got a Lincoln 200 square ways. A buddy of mine got it for me. We did a little swapping. He actually runs a welding supply shop, has everything I've got. I bought from him over the years, and he needed a little bit of work done. And I said, well, you don't need to pay for my part of it. We need to do some swapping at your cost. So that's how I was able to get the TIG. But it's a nice machine. I just need to put more practice on it.
yeah. No, I got a machine that didn't end up having the high frequency start, so I got to tap and lift, and I stick a lot.
Yeah, I had that issue at Fab Tech. I was in the Optrail booth looking at a new welding helmet because I have such a hard time seeing anymore. I can't get enough light on stuff. And was like, here, try it out. And they had a TIG unit there, and I couldn't get that thing to fire for shit. Then I was like, oh crap, I got to scratch start this one. And honestly, I'd never done that. I just figured it out, so I was doing it that way. And hell, I stick it this way, so I was sticking that one pretty good too up there. Plus, it was just hot as hell, so you're sweating bullets and trying not to be too embarrassed. 60,000 people standing around you.
You seen any of those super modern helmets that have the true color darkening helmets on them?
Yeah, that Optrail I was looking at had that in it because I actually switched to I think it's a bluish lens a couple years ago because it's a light issue I'm having. I mean, I've always been blind, but I wear contacts. But it's like the last few years I can't get enough light on stuff. That's why I carry a flashlight. I always had to put light on it, and so I'm having a hard time seeing where I'm going. You'll be welding and get warmed up. So, oh, that's going to be a good looking weld. And flip the hood up, and it looked good looking weld, but your joint was here and your weld went down here. So,
Yeah.
But some of that new stuff, that True Color is what I was wanting to look at. And the Optrail looked pretty good. I need to order it. I think my discount's already expired, but I was gone so much they only gave you like 30 days, and last month and a half's been on the road, so I'll get one ordered.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll like it.
So we can I mean, we could sit all night and have Papa Chat stories, which is the intent of this show. But I want to pull it back, and Papa Chat, I want you to talk to us about what even brought you to Alabama. Like, where did you start? How did you get to Alabama? How did you get in the maker community? Like, I want to bring people back and give them your full intro story.
Was born in Kansas, grew up outside of a little town named Florence on a dairy farm out there, and was supposed to have went to the Colorado Institute of Art I just had a class reunion the other month. I think we had 35 people in our high school class. So it was 2 towns in the whole country and the county right there. But got accepted into the Colorado Institute of Art. Back then, you had to go and do a slideshow. I actually made my own slides because I had photography class, and got accepted into that. But the way that was 2 years straight through, and you had to live on the civilian life. And coming from a farm in the middle of Kansas, that was a no-go. So ended up going in the military to get the GI Bill and the college fund and all that. And that's where I'm buddy that was at Maker Camp this week, and one other boy was in Berlin and deactivated Berlin. I got sent to Fort Benning, Georgia, which is just right across the river here, and was about time to re-up, and did like so many people do. You fall in love with the long-haired gal, and decided to stay. And I guess all that two-stepping and everything got the best of me, and luckily, we're still friends to this day. But that didn't last. But hell yeah, I've been here since 1992. So I've always made stuff. That started it started actually in high school, growing up on a farm, making pieces of equipment for the farm and welding shop and then wood shop. I was just out there at the house the other, for that reunion, and the dining room table I built for my dad is still in the house, So been doing that. And I think it was 2020 was my first maker event. It was Workbench Con. I decided I'd try this stuff out, and I actually did the Instagram then was under CF Handcraft is what I would sell stuff on, for the the making deal. And I think that's where we met, was 2020, I believe. And we got back from that, and that's when the flu bug hit the world. And didn't go. See, we didn't have one in 21. I didn't go in 22. And then I went back in 23, and then 23 was my first maker camp as well. And yeah, I seem to go a lot of places nowadays.
Yeah, you do. I think 23, I think your first maker camp was also my first maker camp.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. So it was, going to maker camp for the first time, I was like a little nervous, like, who am I going to see? What makers from like Workbench Con are going to translate to maker camp? But you see a friendly face and you're just like, hey, this is my buddy. You're here. I love this.
Yeah, I was intimidated. A lot of people don't think that, but yeah, I get intimidated because I don't do public. I only do public a couple times a year. But I remember that first maker camp. I got there about 9:30 that Thursday night, and did just like we was talking earlier. I parked down there by the office, and I went into what's the bar down there called? The Phoenix. I went down in the Phoenix, and it was funny because the waitress there at the bar, she kind of wasn't paying me no attention. And finally I said, hey, and then a dude says something, and I said, I'm looking for a group of people. And he said, oh, your people are going to be up at the tiki bar. I said, my people, okay. And I said, well, where is that? Is that within walking, or I got to drive? He's like, no, just walk up the hill. So I got up there, and that was Thursday night, and got some pizza and ran into a couple of people I knew, and away we went. And that's when we had the monsoon.
That was the monsoon.
Yeah. Luckily, I'd already met Austin. So,
23.
Yeah, it was a hell of a flood, that's for sure. I met Austin actually in 2020 at Workbench Con. He come over. I was sitting there at the table, I think breakfast one morning, and he just come in, and he introduced himself, and hey, you mind if we sit here? I'm like, yeah, sit down. So that's how I got to know him. He actually gave me a maker camp brochure or something, that year in 2020.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'd maker camp again. Just, it fills my bucket. And last year was my first year, and I had no idea what the scope and scale of that event truly was. We talk about this, I don't know, every fourth episode, it seems, but it's so massive just in terms of how much space is allotted to meeting up with and then playing along with all of your internet friends. And then you guys get to geek out about the stuff that you're friends about together. It's just wonderful. And they had some new stuff this year too. Couple of mini excavators to play with, which I really wanted to go
Mike
over
had
and
them
play
over
with.
there. Yeah.
But
Yeah, Mike wanted me to get on that little mini X, but you couldn't switch the pattern on it. And I actually I learned running in, a lot of people call it backhoe mode or John Deere mode, and I learned that way. So I actually run it different than what most big excavator operators run theirs. And those little machines are set that way. They don't have a valve. See, all your other equipment, like mine's even got, you just turn a valve and you change the pattern. And I got on the little mini skid for a minute, but it had two joysticks. I was like, this just don't make no sense right here.
it was like a dingo,
And
right?
I've got one. Yeah, except the way they had done it, because I've got a Bobcat mini skid steer, but the way they had done theirs, it was two sticks, and that was set up like a zero turn
Oh, okay.
mower. So it was your left track, your right track, but then your left stick also had your raise and your lower of your boom. So you had to tell your brain to go left to raise up or right to lower. Then your right stick did your bucket. Where I'm used to my big skid steer and my little skid steer, all of them, I'm running the machine with the left hand, and then I run the boom and the bucket and the attachments all with the right hand. So I got on just for a second. I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. But I watched Lindsay get on it. It made me nervous, actually, when she got on. She started spinning the damn thing around. I was like, oh, Lord, we're going to have an accident. As soon as she got on it, I was like, she might be a little too hyper for that. But
would you expect any less from Lindsay?
No, because that's when she was there and Steph and who else did they have? But they walked over there and I was like, oh, this is an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, now those excavators were way too close to the restrooms. I'm surprised that a boom didn't just go right through one of those walls, but I think they kept it together real nice.
They did. Steph got on the excavator and ran it. So I was like, well, I've been telling her before, because she had mentioned running a skid steer once on her TV show, and I was like, come down, I'll put you in something. So now for sure we'll have to put her in one that she'd actually got a thumb on it and stuff, and let her. She'd probably have a ball with it. So maybe that's something we'll do if we do something in March. We'll break out some of the equipment, dig a hole or something, and let everybody play.
You want to talk a little bit more about maybe playing in March?
I got to work it out still, but we have talked about it. We actually talked about it at Workbench this year, maybe doing something in March, because I don't believe we're going to have a Workbench this coming year. Of course, I can't do no 1,000 people here at the White Trash Hacienda, but we could probably, 100 or so of us, people that I know, maybe come out here and when we unloaded and then loaded the printing press, I come up with an idea. So we got the pizza oven will be done by then. So that might be a big pizza making event, and I'm thinking about maybe we make our own pizza boxes and we print the box on the printing press, and that's you won't use it, but you'll take the box home, and that's your event poster.
I like that.
Yeah, that come to me when we were unloading it out of Dave's truck up there, loading in mine. It just hit me. I said, shit, we could, we got the pizza oven, and I also got a dough press at Ed. I don't know have y'all met Ed's Clocks and More? Ed always does all the clock. He gave me a Maker Camp clock last year, but he brought me a dough press. So it's a big clamshell. This one's got a heater in it. He sent me a message earlier this year because he knows about the pizza oven. He's like, hey, I got this dough press give to me. You want it? So he brought it to Maker Camp. So you can just put your dough ball in it, clamp it down, and it'll spread the dough
That'll
out.
be nice.
Dope.
And
that'd make life easier on Rob, because I can't do that dough worth a damn. Rob always does all the pizza making when we're together. So That'll make life easier on him. But I'm thinking that might be a way to maybe, end of Saturday night is we pull that out with the excavator and set it out here by the barn that's not done. And I've got a wagon that I'm going to convert into a bar. And we'll, maybe put some of them hoopty lights on it and everything and put speakers in it. And it's got a bed on it. So I want to make another table that flips out from the bed and probably do stainless on that. And that's where we'd have our pizza prepping station, and it can be the bar. We could have our beer and liquor in there and put the light bulbs on it. And we grab that, and we just have a big shindig right there. And then Brandy wants to come maybe make gumbo. So we could have gumbo one night too.
I mean, it
Gumbo
sounds like everybody wins.
And music. If Brandy's coming, there's going to be music.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I could call my boy and say, hey, you need to come home and bring your stuff with you, because he's got all that stuff to do all that. He can set her up.
Heck yeah.
That'd be the thing to do.
That would be.
He play with her too.
I mean, I'm fixing to come to Alabama.
Alabama's only 10 hours from St. Louis. No, that's doable.
Yeah, I mean, everywhere I go seems to be about 17 hours. So it'd be I told some of my Yankee buddies up there, if I do something, y'all better bring your asses down here. Many times I've been up there. So that's kind of a running joke.
Fair's fair, man.
You're talking.
But I got to try to decide what else we'd want to do. I mean, if we do a little 2-day deal, and, you got Columbus is 20 minutes away, Auburn University 20 minutes the other direction. There's plenty of hotels around. If you wanted to, people want to pitch a tent, they could go down in the paddock down there and pitch a tent and try not to get stepped on by one of the percher on mule or something. But we could do that. We'll get some of them fancy shit houses brought out here, so you don't have shit in the woods.
The high-class white ones, the PWC.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Get one of them nice ones with the steps on them, that you walk in there. Yeah,
there's an actual
go in there,
in
got
there.
a sink. Yeah, get sink in there and everything. It'll be high class.
There you
go. You were talking about traveling to and from Maker Camp, and I also know another traveling story of you where you actually did get on a plane. Do you want to talk about your travel time to and from Maker Camp?
Which one? Which story?
Well, I mean, we were talking about your drive time to Maker Camp, but I also know that you flew on a plane this last year after you told me you don't fly on planes.
Oh, well, I didn't say I don't fly in planes. It had been a long time since I flew on a plane, but yeah, I flew to Boston. When was that? A little over a month ago. I flew to Boston for the podcast up there, and then went downtown Boston, and that was fun. So me and Chad, the other Chad, Chad from Mancrafting, we were in Atlanta. We ended up we didn't do it intentionally, but we had the same flight, which it flew us from Atlanta to Chicago, and we changed planes and then went from Chicago to Boston. And then Bernie flew in, because he's up in Flint. He flew in from Chicago on another flight. And so we went, we got there a day early. So we went downtown Boston on, what was that, Friday. Did a little sightseeing in Boston, walked a little history trail with the little dude. And that's where we did the little, do you know Derek from Alden video? That was all just raw, and we didn't plan on seeing Derek either. The end of that video was not playing. He come and picked us up. I said, well, shit, we got to do something on the end of this video. So that's when I knocked on the window.
That's so cool. I love it.
Then I flew to Kansas, 2 weeks after that. So a lot of flying here the last little bit. And it had been a couple of years since I flew. But if I fly to Washington, that's a long flight. We'll have to have a little bit bigger seat up there, because that being sandwiched up stuff, I don't know about that.
That's what I remember you talking about. You're like, I was just like this, and Chad was next to me like this too.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious, because he shot a photo of it. He got a selfie deal, and I mean we're 10 pounds of shit in a 2-pound sack. I mean we're just like this, and It wasn't on that one, but it was when I flew to Kansas a couple of weeks later. I was this stewardess, I forget what you call them, stewardess. She let's just say she had one hell of a big ass on her, and she daggone kept running into me as she was walking down the aisle. She hit my shoulder and knocked my hat off one time. And I looked at her one time. I just smiled. Oh, you have to get that thing under control, dear.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's amazing.
The adventures.
So, can you tell us a little bit about some of your favorite moments from Maker Camp 2025 this year? Because we do need to do a little bit of a recap. This is our first show in the wake. So, what stood out to you this year?
Well, it's like I said earlier, this year was just, I'm getting sentimental in my older age, I guess, but this year was a big deal for me because it was an old Army buddy of mine came, and it was his very first Maker event. He don't do Instagram. I think he finally got an Instagram the other day. He sent me a text, but he never said what his handle was going to be, so I don't know. But he follows the stuff that, Instagram posts to the Facebook page that I don't get no traction on, but he follows that. So he had been following, some of this stuff I've been doing. Then in January, he come down here for a visit. And so after I bought my tickets this year, I made a post on Instagram, and then he sent me a text like 15 minutes later and said he bought his. So that was just, that was a big deal for me, getting to see him, because we've only seen each other. This was the third time. We went 20 years without seeing each other, and we seen each other 10 years ago, and then in January. So yeah, this is the third time. And
Was his name Brad?
getting to see his Matt.
Matt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I call him big-eared bastard all the time because, believe it or not, we were both like this when we were in the military, and he was all ears. The rest of him finally grew into his ears. But my mom's got a picture of his basic training picture still, I guess, beside mine in her house, and he's all ears. His damn ears you could fly a kite with, and we used to messing with him that all the time. Now they don't look so big, but we all get larger as we age. But he really enjoyed himself, and everybody just took him in, and that really impressed me. People that knew me, I was introducing him, and yeah, they grabbed him and took him in, and he was just so impressed. That first night after we had eaten pizza and stuff, he's like, man, everybody talking to me, and everybody's so nice. And I was like, yeah, I said, I wouldn't be here if they weren't, So it was neat to watch that that first time experience through somebody else's eyes. We all experienced our first time, and but it was neat to see, okay, is this how we looked? Is this how we felt, when we experienced it, looking back now, watching him. So that was a big deal for me. I just really enjoyed that.
Now, did you guys make it over to the oh, they have the big long belt grinders. You ended up getting a little taken home present.
Oh,
Ameribraid. Yeah,
Ameribraid.
did you guys make a knife over there?
Well, he actually, so Matt was able to get out, and then he went, and he got to do a lot of different things. He made him an axe handle too, and got him an axe. But yeah, he got over there and made him a knife first. It's like we were talking earlier. I get pulled in different directions, and my one thing I wanted to do this year was sewing, and I did that. So I was over at Patty's Deal, but I made it there the last night. Yeah, I got the knife sitting over there. I did not get to sharpen it. Eric had to sharpen it because I got pulled in another direction, had to do something else. But it's right there. And then, of course, yeah, as you see, we got the newest. Yeah, that one right there is the the newest Ameribraid product. I seem to have a weakness for that blue.
Yeah, no, it's a fancy piece of kit for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the only one I didn't have.
Well, when you got a collection going.
Yeah, I think it was Saturday. I asked Eric. I said, "Y'all gonna send them things back to California? You gonna sell them? You gonna make a little deal on them?" He said, "Oh yeah, we'd like to sell them." And then I know Kevin better than I know Eric, and that last day I hit up Kevin. Actually, Derek wanted to take this one home. Derek from Malden, and I hit Kevin up, and he was like, tell me a number. I said, don't ask me that. I said, hell, I'm cheap. I don't know what the thing retails for. And no, give me a good friend's price. I said, don't ask me that. I'll hurt your feelings. And he's like, no, tell me a number. So I told him a number, and he's like, well, I got a number in my head. I said, well, I asked you what your number was. He said, you got cash, right? I said, yeah. I said, let me think. I said, yeah, I probably got a little bit more in the truck. And he threw a number out, and it was actually better than the number I gave him. So I said, all right, we'll do it. So we actually just pulled it off, and we left the whole grinder together, and it went in that right side box on my truck. It was just perfect because I didn't have a laser in there, so I had a perfect spot, and that set right there and closed the door. And then we took the stand and the legs apart and threw them in the back of the truck with a printing press. And yeah, now I've got it. So that one I'm gonna leave set up a little bit different, and because I've got the big one over there, and then I've got the hyper disc as well. So
That's awesome. Can we talk a little bit about your printing press? It's a drum that rolls on a track with a handle, right? It's not like a litho
no, it's
press, or
well, no, the drum that rolls is the one like what's his name had there. He was printing with. This is the rotating one. So I don't know all the names, all that stuff, but where the ink goes, it clocks every time, and then the rollers come down and go up, and then you clamshell, it shuts and goes
okay,
against the
sure,
plate.
sure.
So I've been wanting one for a long time, and a lot of that just comes from seeing the ones that Jimmy's got, and the stuff I've got for him with it, and that's been playing since I think it was June. Dave had it, DTB, and he had actually went out to a Maribray to take them something, and him and his boys stopped by the house here, and we got to talking. It was before Field of Tools, and I asked him, I said, you gonna go to Field of Tools? He's like, yeah, I've got a big band, so I want to take in a printing press. I was like, a printing press? I said, so we negotiated there on the patio over there, and he brought it up there to make it. It was bigger than I thought it would be. So
Yeah.
it's the more I looked at it, so it's just like everything. It's not going to be simple, and it probably won't ever get complete because I have a hard time finishing shit. But as I looked at it in the back of his truck, I was like, oh man, we got to strip this thing. I want to get it fully working, and then I want to take it totally apart and have it sandblasted. And it is just screaming candy apple red with a pearl or a metal flake in it.
I operated an old Chandler and Price with the big flywheel.
That's what
Okay,
this one
yeah.
is.
So
That's what
and
this one is.
ours
Yeah.
was that gun coat black, and I think you were absolutely correct. Candy apple red with a pearl finish, and then if you sandblast all the gearing and leave it with that metallic, it's going to be gorgeous. Are you going to run it on a AC motor, or does it still have the foot treadle?
No, this one actually has an old AC motor on it, and it's an old motor, so it may be the original motor. So from my understanding, pre-1920, they had the wavy spokes in them. And then they went to what they called the new style or the new model. And that's when they went to the straight. So it's going to be around 1920 or a little bit later. But yeah, it looks like it was retrofitted the way the casting's different on the leg that's got the motor on it, but it's got a speed control on it and everything.
No, the one I used it just had one speed, and it was terrifying. And we used it for die cutting. I used to make industrial decals. So I did John Deere backhoes and Sun and Machine Tools control panel overlays. They were a big client of ours, but we would put like steel ruled dies that were set into plywood, and then we'd let them into that frame. And then when that frame would come down and smash, instead of having ink on a roller, it would die cut vinyl and Lexan and stuff. And
I've never seen vinyl cut that way, but it's just like cutting.
Yeah, same idea. The die comes down, and then you go in and register, and it smacks down. But yeah, there was a foot brake that was supposed to work in theory,
That's got a foot brake on it, and that's the only spot that really shows any damage. It looks like it was cracked or broken. I can tell where it was brazed together, and it could be cleaned up. A little bit of grinding will clean it up. It looks to me like it's been painted a couple. Oh, this screen's telling me to add effects with hand gesture. I next just need to hold my hands together. It's got. It looks like it's been painted a couple times, and of course, it's got all the dirt on it. So I really think just totally disassemble it and then take it and get it, bead blasted or whatever we decide to do. And
Does
yeah,
it
it's got to be just
still
bright
has the
red.
ink plate on top and the coating rollers and
Mhm.
stuff?
Yeah, it's got one roller, so I gotta get a roller. I probably have to rebuild that roller. But other than that, I think it's got a shroud that was over the big wheel. I don't know if that's original or not. I think that might have been added. It's kind of been
Mine
up,
did not.
but everything about that says put a finger in here and lose
Mhm.
an arm. Everything about it. So uh, Mr. Frost he's gonna have to probably learn the hard way. He goes put his nose nose on it or his tail. But I just envision that thing. What do they call it? ASMR, the
Mhm, that
sounds. You could have that thing just running in the background.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking put it in the corner where I just did all the white sheet metal on the other end of this shop. You just kind of put it in the corner right there and put some lights on it, and then yeah, it'll probably never get done, but that's the plan. I guess it'll have to get done if we're going to use it in March. But I'm looking forward to it. And then, I got a CNC that showed up a week or so ago that I ordered a couple months ago. It got here, so
Would you
part of the thinking on that was I could CNC my own
there you
printing
go.
plates.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
run
What'd you get?
aluminum.
What'd you get?
Got a 150.
Attaboy.
Yeah, when they done, I was supposed to have had a Phantom because I actually did a deal with Jonathan at Workbench Con. He's got a 4x4 Phantom that he had just bought 2 years ago, and he was wanting to downsize because he's, 4 hours north of me. And I was like, yeah, I'll buy it from you, bring it down. And he never could get around, was having trouble getting it out of his garage. And then something happened family wise. The last message he had sent me earlier this year is he had to go to North Carolina, I think it was, and hadn't heard from him. And then I was actually sitting here at the house one day. It was raining a couple months ago when they did that special with the red
Yeah, yeah.
line controller and everything. And I'd sitting there and the email come across from my personal account. And I said, oh, hell, what the hell? Click. So, we got something else that's in a
Yeah.
box.
Oh, speaking of things in boxes, we haven't even discussed your generous donations to Makers for St. Jude and your winter chicken dinner that you got from that.
That's kind of pretty, ain't
That's a nice little piece of kit.
Beautiful.
it? Yeah, it's very nice. I was gonna order the rolling stand for it, and it was right before I was fixing to go somewhere and be gone, and it was talking about truck freight, and I sent a message to the guy that runs the Instagram deal, and anyway, it never got ordered. So I was thinking about the other day, I need to order because I've still got it on the base pallet, but I need to get the rolling stand for it so I
The
can
Harvey
move it
mobility
into place.
kits are manufactured to a standard that I was not expecting.
I've seen them up there in what was it? What's the one in Atlanta? AWFS or Zid, whichever one, the woodworking deal that's in Atlanta last year. That's why I went up there too, because I wanted to look at the table saw with that nickel plate on it, and they had the rolling stands up there, and I was like, yeah, it's a lot better built than a Shop Fox stand that's underneath my other
Yeah.
one. So
I just recently finished assembling one of the Harvey table saws, and with the mobility kit and all of that, I mean, I've got dang near every Farkle for that thing, and it has all just blown me away with tolerances, how clean even the tapping where it's placed, like all the screws thread with great precision. Last thing that I made that I felt was assembled and built as good was a Weber gas grill back in about 2012. Blew my mind how tight the tolerances on that thing was. I still have that grill.
yeah, I had a Harvey when I was up there that IWF last year. I had them quote the whole table saw and the router setup and everything. And then, I started redoing this shop again. I was like, all right, we need to wait because I've got an old Craftsman saw and I haven't done as much woodworking, the last couple of years. So I need to get a project done and then bring that. But that's what I plan on getting was their table saw because I like the humidity's so bad here. I mean, everything rusts. Just like last night, I was cleaning up another bandsaw, but I think it'll do good. It's robust. I like with the router table built into it, and I was gonna put it all on them wheels.
Yeah. So I've got the nickel on the table saw here also, and again, because I'm wood turning all the time, I blow green wood shavings all over my shop.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my big concerns was sending, oak shavings or oak dust from green logs onto a cast iron top and it just turning brown. And
well, that's the problem with my old table saw, which we just redid it. So there's actually two actual doors back there. Before it was old wooden doors and had a storm and they blew open and it rained in on that old table saw and it got it good, So I've cleaned it up so many times, but it's had the rust is, it needs a new one, So it's not going to be a Craftsman. It's going to be a Harvey when I get one. We'll get that big one.
I mean,
I just
you
had
can
to
only
go through
spray
this.
so much Faux Shield, right?
Yeah, I need some of that, honestly. The beard, Robert, just had to go out and patch my roof of my shop because there was a leak right above where my table saw is. So my Harvey, a little rusty. We got little spots on it. And so I need to get some Faux Shield and do some refinishing because I sent him on the roof this last weekend and I was like, can you please just patch that spot?
Sound like you need some some CRC 303 spray to keep it from rusting.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Or I need a nickel plated top.
That stuff, it works
Yeah,
good.
you got a big old box from CRC recently.
Yeah, I did. It totally surprised me. I was not expecting that. I thought they were going to send me another thing of the degreaser, and they sent me. Yeah, it was when I got back from Boston. I seen it. They sent me two boxes slap full of stuff. So I guess that's how it feels to almost be important.
Almost be important. You are very important. Stop it.
I mean, you're a pretty big deal, bud.
That was very neat. That was very neat though, getting that. It done that video using the degreaser on that metal bandsaw that I bought. It was just horrendous. And they sent a message and I sent one back because I had thought like a month before I did something with the 303 and I found out about it, from Chris Cash at Mount Phillips and I'd done something and I seen a message come across my phone one evening and I didn't read it. The next morning, 4:30, I went to read the messages and it was gone. And that's happened a few times with Instagram. A message will just disappear. And then it was probably a month later, I did that one with the degreaser and they sent me a message and then we communicated back and forth. And they're like, yeah, we've been having trouble with messages disappearing as well. But they were like, what's your address? I'll replenish that degreaser for you. So I figured, because I got to order it in. Nobody's got it around here. And I figured they was going to send me, one bottle of it. And shoot, they sent me a 2-gallon thing of Vaporus. And that's normally the size I buy anyway. And then I think it's still sitting over there. 4 bottles of the degreaser and 4 cans of the 303. And then their one that, breaks stuff loose, their version of it. So it's pretty neat.
Do you think they're...
Go ahead, Jess.
Oh, I said like PB Blaster.
Yeah, their version. I forget what they call it. It's called Knocker Loose. I guess you could that's
that tracks. That tracks.
That's a hell of a name right there, Knocker Loose. But there's the CRC Knocker Loose.
Nice.
So I reckon if it's stuck, you can spray it with this penetrating solvent and it'll get unstuck.
Yeah, couple taps and a little bit of heat and
get
yourself free.
There you go.
Yeah. But that I'll tell you that 303 CR, whatever it's called, that stuff does very well on rust prevention.
Nice.
Because I used it. First thing I used it on was one of the work tables on the Ameribraid, because it had gotten so rusty because you're dipping stuff in water to cool it down, and I cleaned it up with one of them fiber discs I use and sprayed it with that, and that's been 3 months ago, and I've did several things with it, and they don't have a bit of rust on. I've only sprayed it once.
Wow.
That's
All right.
awesome.
So it works. It works. I keep it in the truck now too. The other day I got some tools out of the box in the truck, was working on this ragged hydro seeder, and your inches will get rusty. Same thing if you're working on irrigation. And I was like, shoot, I'm gonna keep a can of it in here and just spray the tools down with it before I put them back in the truck box. So it's good
How's it
stuff.
smell?
I've been real impressed
Serious
with it.
question. How's it
Mhm.
smell?
It doesn't smell bad at all. Some stuff just makes you want to smell it even more. It doesn't smell. It doesn't smell
All
bad
right.
though.
Yeah. No, I see. The thing is like I get to smell in Simple Green every once in a while, and it's just like I think it smells delicious.
Well, it's like yesterday I got some PVC primer out because I was building something for a water tank where I got to do some water. I was building a big shotgun sprinkler, and I went out to the job trailer and got some PVC primer out. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot how much I
Yep.
like to glue pipe together. The whole damn shop smelled like it, and I've never been stoned in my life, but that's probably as close as I get. I
Yeah,
reckon
and
get on that primer, and get
that
tore up.
purple stuff, it's good stuff.
That stuff that I use is industrial stuff too. I mean, I glue 2 and 3 inch water lines, high pressure water, and that shit's good. It'll clear you out.
And I like
Oh,
smelling
I guess
gasoline.
need to take that to make your camp.
there
I
you
guess.
go. You lose a couple hours and strip a couple brain cells. Yeah, that'd be real good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Geez, Mr. Chad, we have gabbed, we have chatted. We're about 45 minutes into the episode, and I don't want to cut it short, but out of respect for your time and keeping our show to about an hour, is there anything that you wanted to talk about? Holy moly, I hit a button. Are we still here?
You're good. Good.
Okay.
It's
Sorry.
still good.
I gestured near my mouse and things happen. Anything you wanted to talk about that you did not get a chance to talk about?
No, I mean, y'all, you had mentioned that go-kart, last time. That's a pretty good event. I think more people need to go to, as Jimmy's go-kart event. That's a good little event to do, and that was a fun project this year, even though it was last minute, But yeah, I think it's worth getting more and more people to go up there to that. We had a pretty good turnout again last year, but everybody needs to build them a go-kart. If nothing else, it just makes you get something done.
Yeah, well,
Some of us need those deadlines.
I got a Predator 212 sitting in a box in my garage, ready and waiting. My eldest is turning 7 here pretty soon, so I think that's an appropriate age for motorized mischief.
We had quite a few young kids there this year. It's kind of like Maker Camp. You notice this year, last year there was quite a few. This year there was even more young children there. And that's good to see, especially in this day and time where all the kids just want to be doing this all the time. To see the people bringing the kids to Maker Camp, I think that's a good deal.
I think this year was definitely better than last year, because I noticed that the kids that came this year wasn't like, I mean, granted, there was, a couple little ones that might have been conceived the year before. That's one thing.
Oh, I know one that was.
We all know the one that was little Miss Charlie, and she's fucking adorable.
Yeah, I give Colt a bunch of shit. When I found that out, I was like, oh yeah.
But
it was cold that night. Y'all were in that U-Haul van.
But I do think that like the direction that Maker Camp is going with the kids' activities and stuff is really positive, and I think that people are cognizant of bringing their child that is wanting to be there to learn and to make, versus like bringing your kid because it's like a family vacation, or it's mom or dad wants to go to this thing. Like, I feel like a lot of the kids that were there this year versus last year were there because they wanted to be a part of, and they wanted to make things, they wanted to learn. And I think that's amazing. I mean, like you said, Chad, like having the kids, you know, come along to just come along is one thing, but to have them be there because they want to learn and they want to make is a really powerful thing.
It is, and I'm impressed with the number of kids that know the different adults, and not just the kids that know Jimmy or Derek from the TV show and stuff. But I mean, I had one holler at me, and I was like, okay, who is this
Yeah.
little person? They knew who I was. Their mom and dad did, but the child hollered at me. I was like, okay, this is cool. But that's the whole maker camp deal. That video I did, I'm like I said, I'm getting a little more sentimental, but the whole maker camp experience, and I think as we get older, we realize this even more. But that whole maker camp experience, like you said, Jesse, you get to see people that you met before. It's a big family. You look forward to it. Yeah, it's just cool. It's just it's a good thing. There's nothing like it, and it's its own unique thing, but it's a closeness between all the people.
For sure.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
your video, I think, was probably the most reshared video that I saw of a Maker Camp recap video. I was like, every story I was clicking on, it was like Papa Chad, Papa Chad, Papa Chad, because you really said everything that needed to be said in that moment. All of those special things, all of the memorable things, all of the sentimental things, you said it in that video.
Yeah, I guess my speeching skills ain't still too good, but I can pretend.
No, I love it.
You do just fine. Stop
Yeah.
it.
No, we love seeing you there. We love seeing you online. I love being called a horse flyby every time I see you post a story update. Again,
I slowed down on the stories a little bit this year. It was what was it? This was it June? We were up there. Went up to Ann's place, and Rob was up there helping her, and I went up to Ann of all trades place to look. I'm gonna go up there and fix that disaster around that building she's building as a school. But those couple days I was up there, I didn't do it, and I got back and I was like, I'm ready for a break. I've been doing it for 2 years straight, and I took a couple week break, and I had a bunch of people send me a message, and so I started doing them again. Now it's just a couple times a week. Sometimes you got to cut back a little bit.
well, you got to take time for you.
Um,
You know,
well, it's always done early in the morning when I'm up and about, but I decided to cut it back just a little bit. But you never know what you're going to see. Well, you just
yeah,
never know.
I love it.
Yeah, but your tater chips miss you when you don't do it.
Yep.
Just know that.
Yeah, people say Rob actually he's got a running list going, evidently, of stuff that he writes down and shit that flies out of my mouth. It's just one liners, and I don't know, it just stuff comes to me, I guess. So he's got one of these days he'll be able to write a book on. Some of them probably don't need to be in a book,
Well,
but
I think a coffee table book of Chadisms is perfectly fine with me.
some
I'll have
isms.
to, Chad, I'll have to send you the video I took at Maker Camp. Robert's favorite bourbon is Blanton's.
Hmm.
Or not Blanton's, it was what's the other one with the gold label? Crap.
Well, there's a walnut one that he likes that's made up there. The Blantons is what Eric likes to drink, because I got a bottle of it Eric gave me right before we did his wedding ceremony.
But
What is that other one?
there was a bottle of bourbon like behind you when we were sitting at the picnic table, and I took a video like zooming in on the bottle to send it to Robert, and like the stuff that was coming out of your mouth was funnier than the video I sent him. So I'll have to
Oh,
send it to you.
So you were like sneaking a video alive. I'm
I
trying to
wasn't.
remember
I
what
didn't
bottle of
plan
bourbon.
to take a video of you. It was more the bourbon in the background. But
I'm
the
trying to think
stuff that
what
came out of
bourbon
your
we
mouth was
had.
Well,
hilarious.
there was a couple bottles of
What bourbon did we have
Michter's
sitting
making
there?
some laps around at that party. I know.
Which night was it, Jeff?
It was the mid-morning in the
No,
pavilion
it was in the morning.
when we were hanging out with Cowboy.
Oh,
And Basil
oh,
Hayden's,
and you
that's
and
what it
me
was. It
and
was Basil Hayden's. There's a bottle of
Basil.
Basil
Yeah.
Hayden's, and you're like, I don't know what that is. And I was like, yeah, well, Robert really likes this stuff. And so I went to take a video, like zoom in. I'll send it to you. It's hilarious. You'll love it.
That he's talking about the Blantons. That Blantons is good. I had never had it till Eric and Jenny's
Yeah.
wedding. And that stuff's pretty
Yeah,
sporty.
that's a
They
good way of putting it.
They have different like tops on them, so I guess they're like collectible.
Yeah. Yeah. So it spells out Blantons. I got the letter on it. So I think it's 8 of them, and they all got a different pose of the
Mhm.
horse. And I didn't even know that till I got back from the wedding. It was in my truck still, and I met one of my engineer buddies at a deal to go over some stuff, and he's been to the distillery, and he, I just like to drink the shit. I don't know all the special crap about it, and he got to telling me that, so I was like, well, crap, I'm gonna have to get all the bottles in. And then I asked Eric about it, and he's the one that told me that there's a different pose of the horse. It's not just the letter, but the horse is different too.
Yeah, but good luck trying to track down every bottle. Like they're all different. That's why it's
I
cool.
have heard though that you can actually, if you know the right place to order from, you can order them all. So that might be the easiest way to do it. Might be better for the liver.
Might have to be a wedding gift. Shh, don't tell him.
That wedding's a long ways. That's a lot. Have y'all set a date yet? That's a long ways to travel.
8/22/26.
8/22, August the 22nd.
Yeah. It's all
Hmm.
even numbers. I love it.
Doing the wedding, that was a moment to always remember. That's for sure. And that all come from Maker Camp a year ago.
Yeah.
We kept it under wraps. Only a couple people knew, but yeah, that was a neat life experience. So
It was very
yeah, Jenny almost bust her ass walking up the rocks. I was like, oh God, don't fall. And I didn't drop the rings. Eric handed me the rings we were talking about the night before. I said, how are we gonna get these rings in my hand? We don't need to drop them. And we tried to put them both on my finger, and they both wouldn't go on my finger. They was two Jenny's would just go like the right here. So I said, here, let's just do 2 fingers. And I said, I'll reach down. And I think Justin got a picture of that
yeah.
when Eric brought her in, and she went to walk up steps. And I reached down to him, and he put those on. But yeah, that was an amazing experience and a privilege to do. That's for sure.
Love that.
I know.
And she had talking a microphone. That messed me up because I wasn't expecting that. And I don't talk into a microphone, And then I had to read. I was trying to read it on my phone. Eric had put a picture on the Facebook page of some smart ass on there and said, oh, the preacher shouldn't be checking his Facebook. And I didn't say nothing because I'll get to going, but I wasn't. I was seeing what my next part was. I actually walked 3 miles that morning around the hotel trying to write the procedure and what was going to be said and everything, because I know everybody was in that hotel that morning probably was like, who is the damn hillbilly out here walking around talking to the clouds? Because I literally was doing laps, and I was speaking it as I was going. I mean, that don't sound right, and then I'd retype it in my notes on my iPhone, and yeah, I walked 3 miles trying to get that.
I think
It was fun, though.
that's one thing that people maybe don't know about you is when they meet you in person, you're like big, burly, like country dude. But I'm sorry, for until the day I die, you are just a giant teddy bear. And like every time I see you, I just like it's the best hug ever. It's like the best conversation and community. Like, you are part of my community, and I appreciate you for that.
I appreciate it. I've tried to, I try to be a pretty nice person. I didn't always used to be real nice. I used to be a little bit more excitable, and business will do that to you, the stress of that. But I still get a little bit twisted sometimes. I got twisted the other day with an employee, and we're gonna have a talk still because he got himself put in jail, and I bailed him out, and I ain't heard from him yet. So, it is what it is. But I try to hold my tongue a little bit and then be a little bit more gracious, be a little bit nice now. And if I give somebody the look, though, then they know. And
All right.
and I never was a hugger until this whole we laugh about that. That seems to be the thing in the maker community. Everybody wants to give everybody hugs all the time, and I never was a hugger. And that is now I automatically do it. And honestly, that's Jimmy's fault because Jimmy always want to give you a hug, and I was like, the hell? And now, yeah, I mean, immediately whenever he sees me, he gets up, and that's what he does, and now that's just kind of this community. There ain't nobody around here knows I'll give him a hug, but when I get around all y'all, I seem to be passing out hugs.
Chad
So,
melts like a popsicle around all of his maker friends. I can get behind that.
no, I don't know about that melting shit,
Yeah.
man.
So we gotta wrap this thing up a little bit, which means quick run through sponsors and then the final question. You good? Good deal. All right. One more time, Hannah and the team at Surf Prep, thank you for your support, adding a sense of legitimacy to this wonderful rambling podcast that we put on as frequently as possible. If you are going to be doing some drywall sanding, check out their drywall sander rings. Great big hole in the middle for dust collection. I think it's smarter than what that other company with the German name and the green and beige colors do. I think that's it's a little more clever and a little bit better designed. There's merch at kcbombshell.com. We still need to talk to Layla about teeny weeny beanies because winter is coming, and Sawdust Talk teeny weeny beanie sounds pretty cool. And Patreon/Sawdust Talk. Every little bit helps. That brings us to the final question, Papa Chad, which is every week we ask our guests to come up with a motivational thought or maybe a quote or some guidance for our viewers and listeners to get them excited about opening the door to their workshop, picking up a tool that they have never touched before, going out and getting something new, trying something new, or just generally getting awesome. What would you like to share to the class?
That's pretty old deep right there. Don't be afraid. The only way to learn something is to go do it. That's why I've learned everything from grading to welding and everything else. Don't be afraid to try something. If it's something that you want to try, you think, hey, that's cool, then do it. Just do it.
I love it. It's perfect.
It's simple,
well, yeah, again,
if
everything went according to plan, every time things would get boring real fast. Imagine a movie where nothing bad happens.
Yeah, if it ain't all just a shit show going on, then you're not doing something right.
No, those best lessons are learned when you have to outsmart yourself. No, that's 100% true.
Pushing limits, push your limits. Well, Papa Chad, thank you so much. We appreciate your time so much. I know it's late for you. This has been episode 172 of Sawdust Talk with Papa Chad. I hope you guys enjoyed. And TJ, why don't you take us out?
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Same